On behalf of Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, a very warm welcome to one and all present here to ARQ 2025, the first ever international conference on accreditation, ranking, and quality in higher education. Thank you. This unprecedented conference has brought together 22 unmatched revolutionary minds that are currently making paradigm shifts in healthcare education. ARQ gives you the thought leaders, educators, policymakers, quality assurance experts from Singapore, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, India, UK, and the US under one roof to help us shape the future of health professions education. In an era where excellence, accountability, and global competitiveness define educational success, the conference serves as a pivotal platform for dialogue, innovation, collaboration. Over the next 2 days, we will explore cutting-edge strategies, share best practices, and forge partnerships to last a lifetime. This will elevate standards in accreditation, ranking, and institutional quality. To our keynote speakers and panelists, your insights will undoubtedly inspire transformative changes. To our delegates, your engagement and perspectives are the pulse of the conference for the next 2 days. Together, we are not just discussing quality, but we are defining it. Before we proceed, let us take a moment to acknowledge Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research for their visionary leadership in making this conference a reality. A round of applause, please. I request everybody to kindly rise for the invocation song, followed by the Sri Har anthem.
Mala Sudha Kumbha Vibodha Mudra Vidya Virajita Karavarijata Vidya Virajita Karavarijata Apar Karunya Sudamburahi Shri Sharadamba Pranatosmi Nityam Shri Sharadamba Pranatosmi Nityam
செந்தமிழைப் போல என்றென்றும் வாழும் ஸ்ரீ ராமச்சந்திரா என் தாயன எண்ணி உன்னை வணங்கி பாடுகின்றோம் நாங்கள் கற்ற கல்வி பெற்ற பெருமை எங்களுடையார் தந்தது ஒட்டு தொடரும் சொந்தம் இதுதான் ராமச்சந்திரா சொன்னது பெற்ற அன்னை தந்தை போலே எண்ணம் எல்லாம் நின்றது உற்ற நண்பன் சுற்றமெல்லாம் இங்குதானே கண்டது வாழ்த்தி நின்றோம் வணங்குகின்றோம் வாழ வைத்த மையமே கூடி நின்றோம் பாடுகின்றோம் வானம் எங்கள் எல்லையே உலகம் போற்றும் திறமையாலே இன்று இங்கு முதலிடம் உயிரை காக்கும் உணர்வுதானே ஒன்று சேர்த்த ரகசியம் ஆய்வு செய்தோம் சேவை செய்தோம் எதிலும் கண்டோம் மனிதமே ஆய்வு செய்வோம் சேவை செய்வோம் தொடரும் எங்கள் பயணமே ஸ்ரீராமச்சந்திரா வாழ்வமே.
Thank you. Kindly be seated. Now I call upon V. Priyadarshini, final year Bachelor of Dental Surgery student, to kindly give us an invocation song.
शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु विद्याप्रदायका शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु विद्याप्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूरुति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु पार्वती तनय मूरुति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धिविनायका नितिल नेत्रन देवी सुतने नागभूषण प्रियने नितिल नेत्रन देवी सुतने नागभूषण प्रियने तटिल तांकिट कोमलांगने कर्णकुंटल धारणे तटिल तांकिट कोमलांगने कर्णकुंटल धारणे शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु विद्याप्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूरुति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धिविनायका कुक्षिमहा लंबोदरने इक्षुचापन गिलिदने कुक्षिमहा लंबोदरने इक्षुचापन गिलिदने पक्षिवाहन श्री पुरंतर विठलना निज धारणे पक्षिवाहन श्री पुरंतर विठलना निज दासने शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्याप्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूरुति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धिविनायका शरणु 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 शरणु
Thank you, Priya, for that beautiful redemption. As we celebrate this momentous occasion, let us mark this event with another form of celebration, dance. Through this performance, we bring to life the energy of the divine. We start by honoring Lord Shiva, the creator and the destroyer, with the rhythmic beats of Atindom, showcasing grace and strength. Finally, ending the story of Goddess Durga, victories over the demon, symbolizing the triumph of good over the evil. I introduce the team to you. Now, the dance performance will be done by Harini S., Aishwarya Suraj, Rohita, Sai Kripa, Aishwarya Anand, and Harini. Thank you.
सब शिव शंकर हर हर शंकर जय जय शंकर दिगिरारा प्रिय तांडव शंकर प्रकट शुभंकर प्रणय भयंकर दिगिरारा शिव शिव शंकर हर हर शंकर जय जय शंकर दिगिरारा प्रिय तांडव शंकर प्रकट शुभंकर प्रणय भयंकर दिगिरारा ओम परमेश्वर पर ओम निखिलेश्वर हर ओम जीवेश्वरेश्वर कररा ओम मंत्रेश्वर स्वर ओम यंत्रेश्वर स्थिर ओम तंत्रेश्वर वर नामेरा शिव शिव शंकर हर हर शंकर जय जय शंकर दिगिरारा प्रिय तांडव शंकर प्रकट शुभंकर प्रणय भयंकर दिगिरारा
தகதிந்தோம் திந்தியும் தொந்தனதிந்தாதீனுந்தோ
जगदीश्वर देवी भुवनेश्वरी सदुर्वेदी परिपूर्ण कलैवाणी करुणागरी अखिलाण्डरूपी சகல சௌந்தரினி சாபங்கள் சூழுதே காத்திடு கை கொடு உணன்றி வேறில்லையே
Thank you very much, girls. That indeed rose a lot of goosebumps, and I'm sure ARQ is blessed. Kindly bear with us a minute for us to get the dais ready. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. Without any further ado, it is my honor to invite the dignitaries to the dais. I request the host, organizing chairman of ARQ 2025, Dr. H. Tamilchelvan, to usher the guests to the dais. Dr. Uma Shekhar, Vice Chancellor, Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research. Our chief guest for the day, Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra, Pro-Chancellor of Datta Mahe University. Dr. Dujiba Samarasekara, Senior Director, Senmed Institute, University of Singapore, and our organizing secretary, Dr. K. Anbarasi, to kindly occupy the seats on the dais. The flame represents again the triumph of light over darkness and knowledge over ignorance, echoing the universal belief of ARQ 2025 that inner knowledge dispels outer darkness. I call upon the dignitaries to kindly light the Kuttuvilakku. Now, proceeding with this beautiful morning of celebrations and invocations, I now call upon the organizing chairman, Dean Dental College of Sri Ramchandra University, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Priya. நான் நேசிக்கும் தமிழுக்கும் என்னை ஈண்டெடுத்த என் தாய் தந்தைக்கும் முதற்கண் வணக்கம். யாதும் ஊரே யாவரும் கேளீர் என்றான் கணியன் பூங்குன்றன். All are from same place, the world, said Kaniyan Poongandran about 2000 years before. Honorable dignitaries, esteemed speakers, delegates, colleagues, and my friends, and the committee behind me who worked day and night for past 3 months on this, welcoming all. It's my profound privilege to welcome you to the inaugural ARQ International Conference 2025, a historic gathering where global minds unite to redefine excellence in health professional education. Today, we embark on a transformating journey, one that bridges policies with practice, metrics with meaning, and individual action with institutional impact. It's my duty to welcome the chief guest, Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra, Pro-Chancellor of Datta Mahe University. Kachik Kilian Kadunjollan Allanen Mikurum Mannan Nilam Endran Valluvan Kachiki Elimayum Kadunjol Kura the Inia Panbadum Uடைய அரசைத்தான் உலகம் புகழும். This says that a man who has simplicity, doesn't use any hard words, with a very good discipline, and who treats everybody equally, is a leader. There, I welcome our leader of this university, Honorable Chancellor, Mr. V.R. Venkatachalam, Pro-Chancellor R.V. Senguttuvan. It's my duty to welcome the chief guest of the day, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Uma Shekhar Madam, and also the Pro-Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mahesh Vakamudi, who was not able to join us, but the man who stood behind me and made us to make this day. Thank you, Mahesh, sir. I also welcome the Registrar, Dr. Senthil Kumar here, I welcome the Dean Medical College, which I call him Anna, Dr. Balaji Singh here, welcome Na. And all my faculty heads, my friends. It's my great indeed honor to welcome NUS SENMED team, Professor Jujiba, Professor Ko, Professor Julian, Professor Ashoka, and my hearty welcome to Professor Vishna Devi, where we've been traveling for past 3 days, and also to welcome to her husband Shakti there, Professor Govinda from Sri Lanka, Professor Vinod from Monash University, and members of AHPE and various vice chancellors, registrars, and deans of medical college. If I go on reading, that would be a big one. Why is this ARC started? In an era where accreditation and rankings are often reduced to check boxes, ARC 2025 challenges to reimagine the quality as living, breathing ethos, a collective responsibility owned by educators, administrators, and learners alike. As the organizing committee envisioned, this conference is not just measuring excellence of designing it. For educators, it will empower you as a drivers of change, equipping you with tools to align teaching innovation with global markets, global standards for institution to decode accreditation framework like NAC, NABH, and QS rankings as catalyst of growth and not mere compliance for students to future-proof your careers. I also welcome Dr. S.P. Tyagarajan sir, who is an advisor to the Chancellor of VIT University, and Dr. T.K. Patsari, whom I missed it. The journey of ARC is quite interesting with a lot of emotions, challenges, egos, the big team have to bring upon. When we were given the task was 1,000, we had about 50 registration. The time given was hardly 2 months' time. We sat, we fought, we united. The only thing was we have to bring ARC successful because an international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to say that we are standing with a registration of 900 now, which is a first of its kind in India. And all the credit goes to the committee of the dental colleges, of course, all the faculties of throughout the university, which helped us. I would like to introduce my core team, which stood with me for almost 2 months, who pushed me to all this corner and made this happen. That's the committee. I have Dr. Anbarasi, who is the organizing secretary, who rolled the wall. I have Lok Sudan, the people who stood there as the organizing joint secretary. I have Sheshan Rakesh, associate secretary. I have Devi, head of operation, and of course Dr. Priya, the MC, who doing that. And also the whole dental college and whole university work for this. The famous dialogue I have with this movie called Asuran. It's a Tamil movie, Dhanush acted. The last dialogue will say is, I'll say in Tamil, it says this, காசு இருந்தா புடிங்கிப்பாங்க, பணம் இருந்தா புடிங்கிப்பாங்க, பங்களா இருந்தா புடிங்கிப்பாங்க, படிப்பு ஒன்று தான் யாராலும் புடிங்க முடியாது. நல்லா படிச்சு பெரிய பதவிக்கு போய் 4 பேருக்கு நல்லது செய். This is for the team from NUS. This says the meaning is, you have car, they can pull you out. You have bungalows, they can pull you down. You have money, they can take it off. But the only thing in the life is education. Nobody can take it out. Read well, take up your life, go to higher position, and do good things. That's a famous dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Tamilselvan standing before you to emphasize the importance of education and need for quality in higher education. Let's seize this game-changing opportunity to learn from luminaries like SENMED, NUS, and Monash University, who join us to share evidence-based strategies, signing off, and looking forward to collaborate across the border. Thank you here. Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir. Today, it is my privilege to recognize and celebrate an extraordinary contribution one has given to ARC. It is the visual identity and the soul of ARC itself. To the talented students who designed the ARC logo, we say a big thank you. Your creativity has not just produced a symbol, you have crafted a story. Great logos such as these are more than just designs. They are the first impressions that go out, the lasting memories of this conference, and the silent ambassadors of the future which carries the institution's name. You achieved all three with this logo. This logo will now represent ARC in all the international forums, publications, and future partnerships. Years from now, we will have people look back at this legacy, this conference. They will see your work as the emblem of its beginning. On behalf of the organizing committee, I condemn your talent, dedication, and passion. May this achievement be the first of many of your milestones in your journey. I now call Padmaja and Bhavika to kindly come onto the dais. I request our chief guest, Dr. Ved Prakash, to kindly felicitate them. A big round of applause, please, for our students here. Thank you. Now I request Dr. Uma Shekhar ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, to deliver the special address.
A very good morning, esteemed guests for this conference, respected dignitaries, academic leaders, students, delegates, my colleagues, and respected academicians on the dais. It's a pleasure and privilege for me to be here at the inauguration of this ARQ conference. As the Vice Chancellor of Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, I'm indeed very proud, along with my colleagues, to conduct this conference on this scale. And to tell you the story of how it started, it all started with, conducting a meeting, APME networking retreat, Nikata meeting. That's how it started, when our friends from NUS reached out to us. And we said, why not? Why not we conduct a conference on health, centered on health professional education? And then the work started. And thanks to the leadership and also all the committed faculty and students, this is happening today. So, on behalf of Srihar, I welcome you all. This gathering is a gathering of great minds, stalwarts in the field of education, policy makers at the national and the international levels, great educationalists of reputed institutions worldwide. All of them have one goal: to elevate the standards of education through robust frameworks where accountability is built into the system and there is continuous improvement in the standards. So at ARQ, we aim to elevate the standards, the future of education. And as teachers, all of us are committed towards this. The commitment from the teachers is indeed very, very vital. There needs to be curricular changes. There need to be innovation in the curriculum. We need to set benchmarks in the quality of education, and these are the reasons why we are here. As individuals, we have to align ourselves. What are the needs of our students? What is it that this nation expects? We all know that the National Education Policy 2020 is applicable to all universities across India, where it is mandated that all universities be multidisciplinary universities. We have functioned so far as, arts and science university or an engineering and technology university or a healthcare university primarily, but now we'll have to open our minds and accept that every university has to be a multidisciplinary university with several faculties all encompassing into one educational center. We have to drive this impactful change. We have to change the mindset of the people and shape every institute to get there into the future. So as teachers, we need to be the catalysts for the changes, and we have to inculcate these changes and these qualities as a culture in every institute, which is owned by every individual, not just people sitting at the top. There are so many different types of accreditations, national accreditations, international accreditations. For many years now, going in for an accreditation was just an option. We are now slowly moving into an era where accreditation becomes a compulsion or a must. Every institute has to have this kind of, at least a national accreditation. So why do we have to get accredited ourselves? Unless we measure ourselves, we do not know where we stand. We need to be measured, and that measurement is what the accreditation team does. So with accreditation comes quality and uniformity. So every institute is compared on uniform standards, and that's what we get as a ranking in the framework. There are so many. The National NAC is one of those things that every institute aspires for, a good ranking in the NAC. So there are so many things that are looked for when a team comes for accreditation and when a university is assessed for its performance. It may be curriculum that is set by the university, though many professional bodies actually control the way the curriculum is designed and executed. We still have room for improvisation and change. What are the teaching learning methods you adopt? How well you're performing in terms of research and publications, innovative research or translational research? What is the infrastructure that you have? And what are the student support measures that you are adopting and the outcomes of your students once they pass out? What is the outcome? These are measured. And of course, the governance of any university. That's an important thing. Unless a good governance is there, all this is not possible. And last but not the least are the institutional values. What are your goals? What are your priorities? Where do you envisage yourself in 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years from now? So whatever it is, whether it may be a national accreditation or a global, international Southeast Asian accreditation, all these we need to learn to navigate. Every accreditation body has certain standards. We need to know how to navigate those standards, how we set ourselves benchmarks, and discover methods that will help us achieve the ranks that we aspire for. So as Dr. Tamil Selvan was saying, this conference is supposed to be decoding the accreditation and the ranking system, make you understand better, and also evolve methods for quality teaching, research, quality research, how to go about your publications, increase the student experience in learning. It should be a joyful experience for them. We should also at the same time be empowering faculty and administrators to make good, informed, data-driven decisions. So this is a place where policy will meet practice. Metrics will be translated to movements, and sharing will happen towards learning excellence. Technology has now come into a big way in education. We are now talking in terms of AI, artificial intelligence. We still have to have our own intelligence. AI will help us, but we need to apply our own intelligence. We have the simulations-based learning. We have the artificial AR, VR-based learning. So all these have come into a big way. We have to harness all this and build it into our curriculum in the right way, not just depending on AI or something like that. So quality assurance is a continuous process, and when it is executed sincerely, it strengthens the institutional integrity. It automatically enhances student outcomes, promotes the well-being of the faculty, the development of the faculty, and ensure that we always remain ourselves aligned with the dynamic needs of the society as well as the industry where our students are going to be placed. So I urge all the participants to engage in thoughtful discussions with a very well experienced faculty and resource persons. Share all your practices, clarify your doubts, and explore the ways you can do better or innovations that you can adopt to quality metrics. So whether it is an outcome-based education, a data-driven accreditation models, whether it is a global ranking methodology, please be inclusive, be transparent, and seek for excellence in every dimension of education. So this conference has to be a space or a place for collaboration, not competition. We are not here to compete with one another. We are here to collaborate. We are here to progress, not to be complacent. And together, we can develop shared visions that values transparency, inclusiveness, and excellence in every dimension of higher education. I extend my sincere appreciation to all the speakers and the resource persons who are here. They've come from all across the globe to share their experience and knowledge with us. And every individual who has worked hard for this conference to become a reality, in front of the screen, behind the screen, and so many things had to be put in place. I really appreciate the hard work of all the people involved, and today is the day that is happening. With these words, I wish you all a very productive and enlightening session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request the Vice Chancellor of our institute to felicitate the chief guest for today. Thank you, dignitaries. Now it's time for the main event, the inaugural address by our chief guest that we've all been waiting for. I request the dignitaries to kindly occupy the front seats. To introduce our chief guest for the day, I now request Dr. T.K. Parthasarathi sir to kindly come on to the dais. To introduce the man, T.K. Parthasarathi sir, he is the former VC of this institute, Professor of Eminence and Chief Advisor of Sri Ramchandra Medical College and Research Institute. He has held various posts inside and outside of the university, starting from 1973 to 2001. He has played a pivotal role in what the institution is today, and he has made sure it has always stood tall. To name a few of his honors and accomplishments, he has been the president of Dickinson Weiss Medical Group, Virginia, USA for 7 years. He has been the chairman of Cancer Program, Southwest Virginia for a period of 8 years. Also appointed as Field Liaison Fellow in Cancer for American College of Surgeons. He's been the chairman of Hospital Accreditation Committee with successful survey outcomes for 3 successive terms. He's been awarded the Doctor of the Year Award from Indian Medical Association in the year 1995. He is also served as member of BC Roy Award Selection Committee for a period of 5 years. Also the man behind the development of Ramchandra, I would like to reiterate that again. TKP sir, welcome. I request you to introduce Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra.
Respected Professor, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ved Prakash ji, it is no small honor today to be here, requested my presence by the organizers, and I thank them for this unique opportunity. Dr. Ved Prakash Mishra is only too well known in this country. Very few people need an introduction for him. If I have to start talking about this visionary, this legendary figure, I think it will take hours. And within the short time, I'll try to shortlist a few important accomplishments of our dear Ved Prakash ji. It may surprise you, I'm 90 years old, and I have never come across in my lifetime any father writing a book about his son, and this has happened in Ved Prakash's life. His father has written a book on as a dream child, and it's remarkable. That says it everything. Now, he is not new to this university, not new to us. He has been with us for several years, and with his guidance, we have steered through several milestones of growth in this institution. He has always been an inspiration to us, and when I talk about him, there is so much to tell about how much this institution has benefited by his contribution, and may God bless him with very many more years that he can continue to give so much for education, healthcare, and research. To briefly mention a few of his great accomplishments, in year 2016, he received the prestigious BC Roy Award. And we know that in every respect, he deserves such a big award, given by none other than our President of the country. As a professor of physiology and in his research pursuits, he was conferred DSc and DMSc honoris causa position by the Indian Health Science University. He has to his credit more than 100 publications, and many of them enlightening in different areas of healthcare education. and research. Many universities have honored him with the name of Professor of Eminence, Professor of Excellence, and Professor Emeritus. And as a board member of the management of Sri Ramachandra, he has contributed so much, but we are not the only one among the beneficiaries of his advice. There were 5 other universities who have been benefited by his being a member and guide them through various stages. Mishraji is a member of Board of Management of several prestigious universities. He is also the Secretary General of the International Network for Medical Health Professions and Bioethics Education. He is a member of the International Committee of Bioethics Asia Pacific region. He is a member of Advisory Board of Manipal Academy and other universities. He is a chairman of Global Network of Medical Health Professions and Education in Melbourne, Australia. If I have to continue talking about his great accomplishments, I'll take a lot of time, but in short, he is a legend. In short, he is a visionary. In short, very many institutions have been benefited by his expertise and advice. With a great pleasure, I wish to introduce to this elite audience our great leader and great person in the field of education, health and research, Professor Ved Prakash Mishra. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Esteemed Chairperson, my learned elder brother, former Vice Chancellor of this illustrious university, respected Dr. T.K. Parthasarathi, esteemed Vice Chancellor of the university, Dr. Uma Sekar, Honorable Chancellor and Pro-Chancellor of this university, esteemed faculty resource persons drawn from the various parts of the globe, members of the organizing committee, teaching and non-teaching staff of the university, delegates for this very notable historical and a monumental conference, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, recording my sense of gratitude and thankfulness to the kind, liberal, blessingful words from the esteemed chairperson, I deem it my pleasure to be addressing this very historical conference on a theme which in my humble opinion will be an extension of what Dr. Uma Sekar put across in her prologue and would be in tandem with the various multiplethoric discussions and deliberations that in terms of the sub-themes by various resource faculty are expected to be dealing with in these 2 days. Diligent compliments for this conference of its own type, international in nature, on a very apt, timely and relevant theme, chairperson. I'm just wanting to put the block annals in the backdrop of which this theme is required to be not only discussed, deliberated, but a genuine way forward is expected to be carved out. I am not taking you into the historicity, ladies and gentlemen. I am just taking to the debates in the Constituent Assembly which took place when the constitution of this great country of yours and mine was expected to be formalized. The Constituent Assembly put across 3 questions when it was wanting to incorporate about the education and higher education in the Constitution itself. And the 3 questions were, education for whom? Education for what purpose? And education for what cost? Pertinent questions. At the dawn of independence, these three questions have a material bearing as to where exactly we stand on today. And the answers which were put across by the Constituent Assembly Chairman, sir, are very pertinent and very self-speaking. It was put across, education for whom? Education for all was the answer which came to be given by the Constituent Assembly. Education for what purpose? Again the answer was, education in free India not only for the purposes of living or livelihood, but for the purposes of life. The second answer. And the third answer was, education at what cost? And the founding fathers of the Constitution in the Constituent Assembly clearly opined that it shall be the responsibility of the state for the purposes of providence of education at all levels to the citizenship of this country. It in this trinity of dimension, ladies and gentlemen, we are wanting to evolve onto this theme that we are taking up for discussion. These answers have been appropriately echoed in the various clauses that are incorporated in the Constitution of India. But then, there are certain interpretations which are called for. Under Chapter 3, Article 21, Fundamental Rights, it is clearly stipulated that every citizen is entitled for life and liberty as a part of the guarantee given by the state. But it was the Honorable Supreme Court in the year 1985 when it very loudly interpreted that it is not only just the entitlement of what is called as entitlement to life and liberty, this life entails entitlement to dignified and decent life and liberty. These adjectives are inbuilt, although not provided for. Why I am referring to this proposition? For a simple reason, that education has been incorporated as a fundamental right under Article 39A. But then there is a rider. Just as Article 21 contemplates not life and liberty, but decent and dignified life and liberty, let me put it across, Chairman, sir, with all humility at my disposal. Right to education is not a blind right. It is not just a right and entitlement to education. The unwritten word which needs to be spelt out loudly and clearly is, it is not just right to education, it is legitimate right to quality education at all levels. And therefore, whenever the word education is being availed, quality is expected to be an adjective prefix to it. Therefore, I put it this way on the basis of my understanding that entitlement is not only for the purposes of fulfillment of legitimacy of expectations, but as a part of the guarantee which is incorporated for the purposes of extending quality education to all at all levels. It is in this context, ladies and gentlemen, I am wanting to admire, appreciate the scope and relevance of the theme that we are discussing. Entitlement to quality education for what? Not for the purposes of cosmeticity, not for the just purposes of employability, but ultimately it has to be turned out in the form of an assurance in the entire operational system. When you say that the actualization has to take place through education, in the context of famous quote which I find very relevant, put across by legendary philosopher, former President of India, late Dr. Abdul Kalam. What does he say? He very categorically said, and I am tempted to quote, just as 19th century belonged to Britishers by virtue of colonial imperialism at their disposal, just as 20th century belonged to Americans by virtue of scientific advent and technology at their disposal, in the same vein, 21st century shall belong to India, not because of its military power, not because of its economic prowess, but transformation of demographic dividends, which is unique feature of this country, converting into precious human resources, and the only modality of this desired conversion shall be quality education, and quality education. When I am underlining this, the guarantee that we contemplate in order to be emerging in terms of the words of the Honorable Prime Minister as the Vishwaguru, it is the 21st century which entitles us for this primarily on the basis of quality education. in all spheres, in all quadrants, in 360 degrees, not as a matter of cosmeticity, but as an intrinsic assurance inbuilt into it out of responsibility and accountability as the answers to be given by. And therefore, the theme which I am wanting to put across, ladies and gentlemen, is quality is not an accident. Quality is not an aberration. Quality does not automatically descend from heaven. It does not automatically germinate from earth. It has to be inculcated. It has to be built. It has to be nourished. It has to be nurtured. It has to be put into the operational systems, put across to measurability and scalability against the predetermined and set standards. And then finally, cater to that as a part of ongoing mechanism in a manner where assurance gets incorporated as an outcome day in and day out. And finally, it is not only just the system, it turns out to be the way of life for not only living and livelihood, but for the entire life as a whole. When I'm putting this across, ladies and gentlemen, let us see where exactly we stand. We need to assess the picture objectively, pragmatically, and then evoke the answers which ought to be put across to policy makers for the appropriate use and utilization. If I say today, we are the fastest growing higher educational system in the world. No other country in the world is in a position to match the growth and development at the rate of proliferation of higher education avenues in this country in every sphere as compared to even the developed world taken together. Fastest growing higher education is taking place in this country. 1. 2. This fastest growing rate, even in the context of requirement if taken note of, it has been able to cater only 1/4 of the numerical requirement of the eligible targeted population is a matter of reality. The rate at which we are developing may be astonishing to the world, but still it has not been commensurate with the targeted demographic dividend that we are talking about, because 2025, Chairman Sir, the gross enrollment ratio in higher education which has been achieved by the country is 26.8%. And targeted achievement rate by 2035 by the government is expected to be 50%, which goes to indicate even after 2035, 50% gross enrollment ratio is achieved, the fact of the story will be 50% still those eligible to be incorporated in the higher education as a part of their legitimate entitlement, they will be outside the avenues of higher education. Therefore, the rate of development still has not been in a position to match the targeted population is a matter of reality. And therefore, this rate of development needs further strengthening so that we are in a position to incorporate the realistic guarantee of education for all to every person who is legitimately entitled to it. But then, this quantification, is it the only requirement? The answer is a big no. Expansion will always need quantified multiplication, but the requirement is in the teeth of quantified development and rapidity of multiplication, quality cannot be put to sacrifice, and sacrilege is another challenge. How that is to be built in, how that is to be incorporated, how that is to be nurtured, again turns out to be a $1 million question. And not only in terms of isolation, it has to be in the form of a movement which has to be gripping the domain of higher education in all the 4 quadrants which is mandated and required. It is in this context, the important aspect turns out to be accreditation. What is accreditation? Very significantly put across in the prologue by the Honorable Vice Chancellor. It is assessment in terms of predetermined and set standards. But what the standards ought to be? Can standards be local? Can standards be local? Can standards be national? Can standards be focal? Or we have to look into the context of quality assurance in a world which is now globalized. Quality assurance in a world which now does not have geographical limitations. Impact in regard to a world which is absolutely boundaryless. It is the international mobility which ultimately is to be taken note of for the purposes of linking the entire accreditation and quality certifying mechanisms, ensuring that the Indian graduates and postgraduates out of higher education turn out to be not only notionally relevant, nationally relevant, but globally relevant. Therefore, it is the global, international, global standards which are required to be the benchmarks to be incorporated and inbuilt into the operational system for quality centricity in higher education. More than that, the relevant stakeholders' satisfaction, it being consequential, it being impactful, it being relevant, it being cogent, and it being credible, these are the 5 touchstones on the basis of which it is required to be evaluated. On those evaluations, to begin with, standards and benchmarks that are being planned and conceived, they are to be aligned. At times, n number of propositions which are put across at the policy frame, Chairman Sir, is we have to have realistic standards. Yes, you should have realistic standards. But realistic standards leave a very huge want-on gap. It may be relevant to you and me, but it may not be in a position to really cater to that international mobility, which now is the rule of the day, and therefore that cannot be lost sight of, is yet another test which is required to be cleared and clarified by all concerned. The third dimension which I am wanting to put across is, very qualitatively and very significantly put, there are, in this country of yours and mine, isolated patches, isolated islands of quality centricity. There are extraordinarily quality-centric institutions, but there are not only bulk of mediocre, but even sub-mediocre institutions, and they are all importing to the cause of higher education. And therefore, at our own doorstep, the real problem is, are we therefore not in bulk evoking compromised higher education, is yet another question which needs to be answered. How exactly that mainstreaming is required to be done? It cannot be worked out by compromising or downgrading the standards. It can be by upgrading and capacity building which is required to be put across through not only institutionalized mechanisms, but through structured mechanisms at the national level. These are the propositions, ladies and gentlemen, which need to be diligently discussed. Not that the things are not happening. Things are taking shape, things are being concretized, things are being put across, but then yet there is a huge question. Having worked out from 1994 in terms of accreditation in this country through the unitary agency created in the name of National Assessment and Accreditation Council, today why is it that we are required to be putting the entire movement back to square one in terms of asking as to whether that mechanism was relevant, and now whether we should be incorporating binary accreditation and then followed by graded accreditation? Ladies and gentlemen, the world's model which has been put across as an eye-opener for all of us is, to begin with, accreditation is always grading, but grading should always result in inter-se visibility and competitiveness for the purposes of ranking. Rank order turns out to be the consequential fallout of any and every accrediting mechanism, is the rule of the day. We may be talking about the expansion in a big way, but let us see where is our visibility in the international forum. Where is our visibility in the international accreditation? 500 top institutions taken together in the world till date. We have not been in a position to incorporate and echo a single entry in terms of that particular placement, which goes to indicate that our levels of quality still are not in a position to be fetching the legitimate place that we should have been entitled to, and we have not been able to reach till date. Gaps are there. These gaps may be systemic gaps. These gaps may be policy gaps. These gaps may be institutional gaps. These gaps may be individual gaps. But the journey of quality, you all will bear with me. Ultimately, it goes on through 3 important phases. Quality is to be first individualized. Leaders have to be created for the purposes of inculcation and percolation of quality. This individualization ultimately has to result in internalization. And this internalization then has to be converted into the housing of the internalization, what is designated as institutionalization of the quality. any aberration, any breach of path, any hiccup in this particular transition ultimately turns out to be a huge obstacle, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, it is imperative, not that we are not interested in attaining the quality standards, not that people are not interested in wanting to be in total conformity and matchability, but then there are difficulties, there are constraints, there are limitations, there is paucity of awareness, there is paucity of understanding, there is paucity of understanding the intricacies, how exactly they have to be dealt with. Talking on paper in terms of collaboration and linkages and working out absolutely healthy practices transfer on papers look to be good. But the confluences, the congregations, the clusters which are mandated, still we have not been in a position to work them out, even in the leave aside in terms of systemic manner, but perhaps even at the individualized manner, there is definitely a want-on gap onto that particular direction. I am not putting the problems, ladies and gentlemen. There is a way we have to go. It is defined. 21st century mandates that if you and me are expected to be emerging as global leaders in the domain of higher education in terms of the prophetic declaration which has been put across by Dr. Abdul Kalam, then the only way is quality-centric higher education as a whole. And that quality-centric higher education, therefore, needs to be worked out in terms of doables, in terms of demonstrables, and in terms of deliverables. We are still harping on structural quality centricity. We still have not been able to work out the dimensions where outcomes and outcome analysis turn out to be the real order of the day. Proposition is simple. It has to be a 4O model approach in the entire journey of quality centricity. Our objectives are loud and clear. Right from the commencement and incorporation in the Constitution, be it the Radhakrishnan Commission, be it Kothari Commission, be it the 1968 Education Policy Document, be it 1986 Education Policy Document, or for that matter, be it 2020 NEP document, objectives have not undergone a single change. Right from 1948 document till 2020 document, the objectives of education, higher education, have almost been governed as a capital K, which stands for constant. They have not undergone a change, and they cannot undergo a change. They need not undergo a change. O has been constant, but then dimension of internationalization, which has come up, results in correspondingly going in for second O as that of operations. The operations have to be commensurate with the objective. Objective and operations make one half of the O model. But what is the use of the operations if the outcomes are not predetermined and tangible outcomes are not compared against the predetermined outcomes, identifying the resultant gap between the two and therefore need for bridging the gap. But that is also only 3/4 of the story, Chairman, sir. Finally, the quality entails not only objective. Quality entails not only operations. Quality entails not only outcome, but quality entails the 4th O, and that is optimization of the outcomes to a near total of 100%, and maybe a surplus add-on over and above the same. These are the benchmarks or the annals in which the entire proposition has to be evaluated diligently, carefully, critically, and then work out a way forward for the purposes of making things move in a realistic manner. Manuals are made by the accrediting agencies. What inputs are received by the accrediting agencies for making of the manuals? I am telling you, very minuscule. What evidences are availed for that particular purpose? To my understanding, even being a part of the planning system for last 4 decades, non-existing. Therefore, it is an imaginative, contemporary thinking which by virtue of perhaps experienced lot of the people is resulting in it being knitted together. It is responsibility of institutions like Srihar. It is responsibility of resource people like congregating in this conference, and therefore I say, what are we discussing? We are discussing accreditation as a way. For what purpose? for the purposes of ensuring ranking. And ranking not only in terms of national inter-se comparison, ranking for the purposes of making the visibility of Indian higher education into the global annals by becoming a significant number in top 500 higher educational institutions of the world. That is the proposition targeted. That will be whether it is accreditation or it is ranking. What is going to be the mother repository? The mother repository is going to be only the quality, quality and quality. Quality is the mother repository. Assessed through accreditation, certified through accreditation, but realistically put across to the required visibility globally is through the ranking, which turns out to be an important aspect. You cannot cut throttle or you cannot intersegment the same. Path of quality is creation, harboring, nurturing, inculcating, consolidating and optimizing for the purposes of it being assessed through accrediting mechanisms updated from time to time by the accrediting agencies with diligent certification born out of objectivity, and finally it must turn up into ranking. That ranking which ultimately makes all of us believe and realize in the global annals where we stand, where exactly we are expected to stand, and what is the remaining gap between the two, how exactly that is to be mitigated. This is the charter which as a layman I have been in a position to understand and decipher. Therefore I am putting across to these learned, ignited minds which are present over here. Let us do not deliberate for the purposes of non-consequential outcomes. Your sub-theme discussions are absolutely relevant. Discuss out, but come out with not a declaration, just a way forward, which can be availed for the purposes of policy frames as may be mandated and required. Do not think that our suggestions, our observations will go a-begging. I know the vacuum in which the frames are required to be operated on. It is needed, it is desired, but then collective wisdom with learned brains present over here should be in a position to not only collage things, but also collate things so that at least if not a doable path, even a dotted path stands created, it will turn out to be a yeoman service, and that would be, in my humble opinion, the real success of this very historical, notable and monumental conference, which would then be in a position to give a real doable path for the purposes of beginning, not only beginning, but continuing the journey of quality. In conclusion, what I am wanting to say, Chairman, sir, very beautifully put across, on the path for perfection, nobody has ever attained perfection. But whenever you walk on the path of perfection, on the way what you are able to achieve is excellence. And excellence, other name is quality. This quality, therefore, is not an imaginative fiction. It is not just a matter of few classes. It is a legitimate entitlement of the higher educational institutions, independent of the place, placement and nature, ladies and gentlemen. And for them, a path is to be created, at least an indicative path is to be created. Occasion and time is now, and you shall do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that intense speech. I now request our beloved T.K. Parthasarathi, sir, to kindly felicitate the chief guest of today. I now request the organizing chairman, Dr. H. Tamilchelvan, to kindly felicitate TKP, sir. Thank you, sir. With all that celebrations going on at full swing, now it's time to express our sincere gratitude. I call upon our organizing secretary, Dr. K. Anbarasi, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. As we have come to the close of this inaugural address of our conference, it's time to express something deeper than words, our gratitude. This conference is not just planned, it is envisioned. And the vision came from our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Magesh Vakamudi. Sir, ARQ is your brainchild. You led us in every aspect with clarity and conviction. You guide us in all steps. You helped us to shape the event. And you made us to bring this to life. We thank you not just for your leadership, sir, but for inspiring us to do our best. Thank you, sir. A special mention to our Chancellor, Thiru Venkatachalam, sir. Sir, when we met us to present your plan, you did not just approve it. You reminded us that a conference is not just about scientific sessions. It's about experience. Your advice to make every guest to feel welcome and every moment as personal. That shape how we organize the event. We thank you with such pride, sir. Your words gave soul to this event. A very special thanks to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Uma Shekhar ma'am, for her immediate and unwavering support. Ma'am, your encouragement at every turn of this event made our work easier and our confidence stronger. Thank you for being with us throughout, ma'am. Our special thanks to our international speakers from National University of Singapore, from Newcastle University, Malaya, Colombo University, Sri Lanka. Prof. Dijiba, you accepted our invitation with generosity. Our gratefulness is beyond words, and you supported us in more ways than we can count. Prof. Koro, Dr. Jillian, Dr. Sushi, Dr. Vishna ma'am, Dr. Gominda, your kindness, support, and commitment is unbelievable. You are truly part of our team. Thank you so much. A special thanks to Professor Ramnarayanan sir and Dr. Vinod. We value your time and support in all whenever we need it. Thank you so much. A special thanks to our participants. It's unbelievable. Thank you. It's not just a number. It is a history. 900 participants for an educational conference in India. That is a remarkable history. Thank you so much. To all the institutions that supported their faculty registration, your investment in education has helped make this event truly successful. Thank you. To all our brilliant speakers, thank you for making this event as yours. Your vision, your energy, and your insights is going to flow in all our sessions. Thank you. To our organizing chairman, Dr. Tamilselvan, sir, it's a very special salute to you. Your calm strength, attention to details, and very warm leadership has beautifully brought this event. We are proud of you. We thank all the Constitutional College heads and faculty members for being stand with us in solidarity and strength. Thank you so much. Also, our special thanks to Dr. Madan Rajan and the scientific team for the focused plan of scientific sessions. Dr. S.K. Balaji and Dr. Arvind for their unbelievable gesture in guest support. Dr. Rajeshwari for being with me throughout these days, intellectually, emotionally, and physically. Your attention to details, incredible attention to details as an organizing event coordinator is unremarkable. Thank you so much. Dr. Loksudan, thank you for being with me for all these days as a co-organizing secretary. Team Endo and Team Perio, without you, this is not possible. Also, I thank all the committees in registration, food, and AV support, every aspect. I thank you one and all. Also, a special mention to all faculty and friends, secretarial staff of our Vice Chancellor Office, Pro Vice Chancellor Office, Dean Education Office, and Dean Dental College. It's not right if I forget to mention Dr. Lata Ravichandran, our beloved Dean Education and co-organizing chairperson of this event. Ma'am, your scientific insights to this conference gave depth to the meaning of ARQ. Thank you so much. Also, I thank our communication team, transport team, AV8s, and of course, our caterers, Eli Cafe, for delighting us with the delicious food. Also, our special thanks to our trade partners and sponsors for believing us. If I forget to mention anyone, please believe it is not in spirit. You all recognized, recorded in our documents, in our photographs, and above in our hearts. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you.
With that, we come to the end of the inauguration. Thank you. Day 0 of our conference was pre-conference courses, and before the dawn of today and before the curtains rose, the energy soared with 7 pre-conference courses. Here is a glimpse of our pre-conference courses that happened yesterday. Continuing with a sense of gratitude, our principal sponsor, Zoho for Healthcare, we thank you for your support for ARQ 2025. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind listening. Now I hand over to the scientific committee. Thank you.
Today's inauguration has been nothing short of extraordinary. The energy, the passion, and the shared commitment in this room promise an unforgettable experience. please kindly take your seats as we proceed with the flagship presentation. Let us all join together in a warm round of applause as we welcome our esteemed chairperson, Dr. S.P. Tyagarajan, to kindly take the stage and preside over our flagship presentation by Dr. Dujiba S. Samarasekara. Professor S.P. Tyagarajan did DSc in Medical Microbiology